Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us once again at the Voices podcast. My name is, as usual, Alafat Mugabo. Today, I'm joined by the Executive Secretary of
Trauma counselors.
Yes, of trauma counselors, and that is none other than Jane Abatoni Gatete. So she joins us today to discuss more on mental health in Rwanda and the journey they've walked from, since 1994 or 1995 to date. And we need to understand exactly where do we come from, where has the country come from this mental health issue, and in the field in particular, to where we are today. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, Abatoni.
Thank you. You are most welcome, Arafat. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
How is life?
Life is good. Not bad, yeah.
I mean, just the reason as to why I really wanted you here on the podcast mostly is to look at the journey that we've walked, or maybe your organization that has walked dealing with trauma cases in this country, and also based on the history of our country, where quite a number of many people faced or still suffer from trauma problems, and require mental health services. So I want us to start by understanding a bit of your organization. What do you do at the organization? The entire organization. What is it that you do at the organization?
Thank you so much. We are Rwanda Organization of Trauma Counselors, which is in a short ARCT-Ruhuka. Ruhuka is a Kinyarwanda name, as you can understand. So we were born in 2004, but that is by registration, but we had started before then. You were talking about the history of Rwanda. We started in 95. That was when the wake up of, immediately after the genocide against the Tutsi that happened in 1994. We started as a training program that was initiated by one of our partners called Trocare. Trocare is an Irish NGO, Catholic, that was working then as in emergency period. So when people were coming back, others from the neighboring countries across the world, some internally displaced after the genocide, they saw the need for mental health. So they made an assessment on PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, which normally occurs after a traumatizing event like genocide, if I would say. So they found that it was really high. By then, there were many women, around 80%, who were having PTSD. And among them were definitely survivors of genocide. So they started a trauma counseling training program. That program trained counselors. I was among the first people who were trained in 95, 96 for 1 year. Then we started counseling. But as we started, we found there is an enormous need in the community. And then we also thought it is a project. Why not form an organization of trauma counselors? So we registered. We were officially registered by the Ministry of Justice in 2004. So after that, we were 13 counselors who graduated then and who started the organization. And then we continued the work of training. On top of that, we have moved on, as you said. Our work mostly is providing trauma counseling trainings, related trainings to different categories of people. We have trained for IVUCA, for former FARJ, for AVEGA, for Ministry of Health, the health centers and all that. So we do provide counseling also. Counseling, we have different types of counseling. We do individual counseling. We have family or systemic counseling or therapy, if I would say. Then we have also group counseling. We also do awareness raising on mental health. We do carry out research and documentation for mostly to see how the issue of trauma is evolving, if I would say.
In Rwanda?
Yeah, in Rwanda mostly, where we work. So we have so far moved from national level. We used to have 2 districts when we started, Kigali and Nyamagabe. In fact, when we started, we thought maybe reactions may be different, one in the urban rather than in the rural. But it was like an action research which proved that trauma is almost the same. Is the same, in fact. It doesn't know any color or poverty or status or whatever. So the same situation we were in Nyamagabe and Kigali. Nyamagabe by then was Gikongoro. So we found it is the same. The reactions were the same. People were traumatized and having same reactions despite being in rural or urban areas. Today we are covering the whole country, and we still now moved to the community. We are doing a lot of community work with families in conflict, on child rights, on drug abuse, on normal trauma, work-related stress, or even this related to genocide. Yeah, that is still going on. Yeah.
So to someone watching us maybe out there who doesn't understand the word trauma and mental health.
Yeah.
Because when you say trauma services and mental health, they seem to be quite the same to someone who might not be understanding the differences.
Sure.
How do you, like as someone who has been in this for a while, I mean, put it too generic that anyone can understand it?
Yeah. Maybe not too generic, but too simple to understand. We normally say trauma is a normal reaction, first of all, to an abnormal event. I hope you understand. If we say it's a reaction because something has happened to you, something outside, like the genocide, if we say, like the rape, like the maltreatment, maybe at work or where. So that is an abnormal event that is beyond normal coping mechanism of human being, if I would say. Normally we have the capacity as humans to cope with different situations. Sometimes we meet struggles every day, and we manage them. Sometimes you get some stress, you get some trauma, but it happens for a short time, then you recover. But when it prolongs and you change in behavior, it is no longer Arafat that you used to be. In attitude, the way you see things have changed. You no longer trust anyone. You no longer maybe work as normal. You don't sleep well. The attitude, the way you see things. And then in the actions, the attitude, behavior, and the actions, meaning that change shows that it is starting to affect you, and it is due to an external event that has happened that is beyond your normal coping mechanism. Whereas that is what we call trauma. It is that reaction to an abnormal event that lasts for some time. If it goes like for 3
Very
weeks,
clear.
So mental health, in other words, it may be biological. You may get, it's like another disease. You may be born with it. There is this epilepsy, there is psychiatric, there is psychotic cases. There are different cases that are generically or like scientifically or biologically born with or can attack you like you have other diseases. So those are another way of getting mental health. But trauma is part of also the global mental health, if I would say, issue. So these ones also go for medication. Like trauma may come, you may do counseling, you may have support, and it goes away. And sometimes when it goes beyond, you may also need medication. It goes into mental health diseases, if I would say. Yeah.
If I may go deeper into the trauma, let's take an example where maybe I'm traumatized at home. My wife traumatizes me, or I traumatized my wife. oh, there's this event that has really kept on happening on me in my home.
Yeah.
Can that lead into the trauma you're describing?
Definitely,
that
yes.
Can change attitude, behavior, and
Very
actions?
much so. Very much so.
Okay.
So long as it is persistent and you end up not being able, you first be like, you control it. You be patient. Your body creates, defense mechanism. But at the end, that the mechanism gets, lower because you can no longer handle it. Then that means you are getting that trauma. Yeah.
I understand you entered this field a long time ago. 2004, it's quite a number of years.
Sure.
And I mean, based on your over 20 years experience in this, can you help us describe the journey that Rwanda has walked into this field of mental health and trauma case management? And where are we today? And perhaps looking at how the events are turning out these days in the whole world, where are we headed? Sure. Or where do you envision to see mental health and trauma cases being handled in Rwanda?
Thank you, Arafat. The journey has been long, but so far so good. Because if I go back to 95 when we were studying, it was a new topic altogether. We used even to wonder how people will come for counseling. Rwandans don't have that culture, come sit and listen to someone. And we thought it is not possible. Nobody will come. So, and we were the first one. There was no school of psychology by then. There was no mental health practices except the psychiatric, the Indera hospital. Yes.
For psychiatry.
Yeah, it was mostly for psychiatry. For even those people by then who used to have trauma. You remember the years of 2000 and below. There were a lot of crises in study, in schools. Every commemoration, people would just get a lot of crisis. You see people in school, they close the schools. In the stadium, people fall down, they take them outside. So people didn't know how to handle it. People
had felt so much that they couldn't even handle it when
they
time,
couldn't
when time
handle
of
it,
commemoration
but
came
even
into.
the community, even I think the government, if I would say, they didn't have some measures to control that. Or it was overwhelming. There were a few people who were trained in that. But secondly, they didn't know that would be a big issue. It was there, people wouldn't know, but people who were helping were very few. Yeah, so people were somehow, if you find in the home, we used to go home, they call you, there is someone here, she's hiding under the table or under the bed, they are afraid, they are smelling blood, they are looking at, flashbacks and all that. When you go there, you find them, they had tied someone. It's like they were somehow like violent or trying to run away. So people would just tie them, sometimes take them to Ndera, sometimes keep them there and hold them very close, yet it wasn't the way to handle that. So by that time, that shows how people didn't know even the trauma existed. Even people who were suffering, they would say, oh, we had women who would come and they say, oh, I see my husband every night, yet he died, or my children. When I'm walking, I see my child coming to me, but when I go close, I don't see. So all those things, people didn't connect that would be, due to the effect of the traumas from the genocide, especially, where people were killed brutally and in a way that it would really make a big impact to the mental health of the survivors. So that way, nobody knew what is happening. Is this trauma? I remember we were looking for a word even to call it. Ihahamuka, ihungabana. Then the mental health program also came in. We worked together. So you could see that there is a lot of challenges by then. Nobody knew. But with time, and even when we were training, we used to ask, now how do we go to the community and tell them? But through awareness, we would go to school, We started with schools, we started with churches, communities where we find many people, like organizations who are there, like Avega and all that. So we would describe the symptoms of trauma, the anger, the flashback, the anxiety, the grief, the all those things. So some people will follow you after the awareness and say, it's like you are describing me from head to toe. That's what I feel every day. That's how I am. So that means people didn't know even how to differentiate, their reactions. Then most of them were relating it to witchcrafts, if I would say. Those who don't maybe believe, I don't know if it is believing, but they may say, hey, so when someone tells you that, I feel like this and that, I feel anger, I dream of my husband every day. When I am on they say, you are bewitched. So they take them to the witch doctors.
Imagine.
Most of them were there. We have other cases which were going to church, but couldn't even connect still. They would pray and deliver, but due to the traumas, when you go back home, it still comes back. It's like sedating your mind. When you are in church, you praise, or even in a hospital, sometimes they inject you, but when you come back, the mind starts working again. It doesn't go unless you really express it through, a verbal way of expression and having someone. So that person in church, they would tell them, no, they pray for them and then they go, okay, you go, you will not, don't think about it. But how can you stop thinking about that? Then when they come back and say, it came back, they say, you didn't receive Jesus. You are not believing well. So until that woman came to, anyway, not only her, but other many of them could come for counseling. And when you would describe in a counseling room, they say, oh,
that's me.
Now I connect. That is exactly what I feel. I wish I had known before. And then sometimes they come, even they say, without an appointment, they say, okay, we'll use your room just to cry. I have seen someone who allows me to express the emotions, At church, if you cry, you are becoming weak. At where, you are suppressed all the time. Don't
You've
cry.
You've not known how God can help.
Yeah.
That's what they tell you.
You don't know. You are not receiving God. You are not. So the counseling started, and it was a good space, a safe space, in fact, for people to express their emotions. They would come and just sit and cry and connect and then go clean themselves and go. So that is what it was in those days. People didn't know. People didn't have services. We were very few. I told you.
By then you were still 13. Were you still 13?
No, we are now. We trained more, and we trained for institutions that were having more survivors, of course, and health centers. Now we are over 120 something and 25
in the whole country, or in the group,
in the organization. In the group, yeah. Not all of them are practicing. Yeah, some even are outside working for other NGOs. Others are working for government in other services. Still, it is still an issue because much as we say we have services, there are many psychologists who are not employed in anywhere because they don't value the mental health. Not in workplace, not in where. The government has tried to place some in the health centers, but it's not enough. But today, with time, awareness, research, universities, the trainings and all that, the government has really embraced that and have made all the effort that we have now a strategic plan for mental health services. We are having psychologists from district hospital to health centers. NGOs have worked, including ARCT-Ruhuka. We have community facilitators. We have community psychosocial workers working in schools, working in communities. We have counselors based in the community where we work. So yeah, things are getting better. People are getting to know mental health. But there is still a lot of stigma around mental health.
Talk about it. I mean, why is it that you're doing a lot of work, but on the part of stigma, as you just mentioned, it looks like no one has yet started handling that. Because let's say if I have a case, like I have PTSD, sometimes I'm scared to tell my wife.
Exactly, yeah.
Sometimes I'm even scared to tell my friend or even my brother. How are you handling that? Or how are you planning to handle that? Because if people don't say what they're feeling, and then you're not going to treat them. So it will burst once and then...
And it even becomes worse, yeah.
Yeah.
There is still a lot of stigma around mental health. First of all, I think it is more of culture, whereby, long time ago, some families who had maybe psychiatric cases or even trauma. We used to have trauma even before, just that wasn't recorded. You would find the children who are misbehaving somehow. They take you to uncle for advice. Some parents don't confront directly their children. They send you to your auntie, to your, when they see some misbehavior or some reactions, which may be mental problems or even trauma cases. So they would send you to aunties, uncles, and all that. It wasn't documented. But today, research has showed it. But still, our culture doesn't allow us to open up, especially for men. More cases we have are for women, which shows that they are ready to open up at least. So when you close it, when you close it because you fear people to judge you. Sometimes people take, how can a man be traumatized, That's a sign of weakness, He's not a man. A man should be strong. Like our culture says, boy, get strong. If they beat you, don't cry. They do. So all those things really add up and hardens us to stigmatize others, especially. And when it is a woman, they start saying, hey, Uriya, that one is a failure.
Is a failure.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know how to behave. She's not a Rwandan. How can she go talking about her issues? Not knowing that is beyond even control. Sometimes people talk to anybody because it is beyond. They want to express. It is beyond. It is full. There is normally conscious and unconscious part of our brains. So when they get full, it's like a boiling pot. It has to burst out, and you have to tell someone.
Definitely.
So that stigma is a lot, and is still there. But I want to say that there are people also who now understands. A lot of them understand and seek counseling. Sometimes counseling journey also is hectic. It allows you to go deep back into your history. So some people fear that. They even abandon counseling for a while. I didn't know I would go back into that history. I have been running away from it. I didn't want to, But after a time, they come back looking for you. Now I'm ready, we can move. So it is also a process that needs you to really talk about yourself. The counselors don't help. It is you to talk what you have inside. But they use their techniques to express and to
extract information from you so that you can...
Yeah, to extract, but also to tell you, to advise or to help you on how to cope, how you will cope afterwards, Maybe like how you could handle yourselves. Most of the time we give homeworks. When you go back, maybe if it is an issue between a husband and wife or maybe something like this and that. So when there is a homework, you tell them, okay, now that you have been fearing maybe this time we will start. What mechanism would you use to not fear? Maybe you say, I know at home there is a comfort place, there is what. So you go try this and this and that. So slowly by slowly they get to move on. Yeah.
So is there a case that up to now, because you've told me about how you used to go to places for counseling and people would say, I heard you speaking, but you were really speaking about me. Every story you put out was about me. I felt like it was me you were talking about.
Yeah.
Is there a case that up to now that stands out for you that you handled then maybe in 2000 that still comes back to you and that perhaps showed you that really people were suffering? that you can tell us, share with us, that still stands out for you and how you handled it? Or is there a case that you have completely failed to handle?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, there are many of them, both for handling and not handling and failed to handle. Sometimes, you are a human being, but from being a counselor, some stories really are too hard. We need our own counselors ourselves, and we do a lot of clinical supervision and all that. So some cases were immediately after genocide. It was my first time to hear some things that happened in genocide. Like, for example, a lady who came in with multiple issues. First of all, she was, of course, the husband. She was a newly married woman with one kid, and she was pregnant. So her husband was killed, the whole family, and all that. And then, as if that is not enough, the child, they cut the child from inside, and the child they banged on the wall. Then the woman thought she's dead, but she survived after a long time. With the open wound on the stomach, she was able to go to she was able to stay in the dead bodies for some time, until the RPA by then came and rescued them, and then they stitched the stomach, and she survived. But she had a lot of signs, and before even cutting, they had raped her. So when she came, she was still in 1994, if I would say, all the time. She would tell you she came when she was still seeing blood all the time. She would tell you, I see blood, don't you see blood? On top of that, she was having rape. She was having HIV contacted. Those are the multiple traumas I was dealing. The ROS, the
disease,
the HIV, as well as the trauma on the rape,
and also the death or the killing of
the loss of her people.
Baby.
So it was really, really difficult. It was overwhelming. It was my first time to hear someone with all that. It was like, where do I start? But with the supervision and
seriously, no. It's a very hard case to handle. Walk us through on how you managed that, because you never know. Someone else listening or watching might be having multiple cases, multiple, like 3 or 4 cases. Might not be the same as those ones, because those are really hard to imagine cases.
Definitely, yeah.
But someone else might be having the similar multiple cases of trauma. And maybe they can learn something from here.
Sure.
How did you manage to handle from first step to the last step? Or did you fail to handle that lady?
No, I didn't fail. I had support from my supervisor. And at first, of course, in the counseling room, I was overwhelmed. But I couldn't, as a counselor, I couldn't cry or do what. But I just empathized and stayed with her. At first, she was like unemotional. She was like someone who is not even talking her story. It was like it is on someone else, because she was saying everything brutally in my face. Then after the story, I gave her another appointment to go and do my own support. So next time when she came, she started now elaborating again. So how I helped her was to, first of all, reflect for her how many cases that were affecting her. There was rape, which is also, she still had side effects. She had gone to hospital, she had been treated, but the uterus was still not able to function. She was still having periodically the blood. So there was loss of her husband, family, the child that they got out.
The trauma of cutting her in two pieces,
yes, in
to
two
remove
pieces
the
and
baby.
leaving her in pain. Then the HIV. So what we do, normally what I did was to ask her, we now look at the cases. As you said, you normally summarize. You know, you have talked about this and this and this, key ones. Where do we start? So she would tell you, I think I don't sleep because of the rape. I feel all the time I go to bed, I feel like people are attacking me.
So if I understand you very well, if someone has 3 or 4 cases, what now matters is, out of the 4 cases, which one should we start with?
Exactly.
That's where you start.
Because that person knows exactly what makes her not sleep at night.
Out of the 3 or 4
Out
cases?
of the 3 or 4.
Okay,
what
now
comes most from time to time, you know? So she tells you, you work on that, but you put the list. So you put a plan. So we are going to work on the traumas of loss of your husband, your family, or whatever. Next, we are going to see rape and this and this. Third, we are going to see the HIV status and all that. But of course, at first, you first screen for other diseases. You know, have you gone to the hospital? Have you been treated? If there is a need, you send them, you transfer them. Because our work is normally counseling. We don't give medication. So after screening all that she's been treated, no sexual transmitted, no heart disease, no what. So you go one by one and you agree on that plan. So the session may be one case, you may finish like 2-3 sessions on it, talking about the details and how to cope with it.
And comforting them with...
comforting them, but giving them... not comfort. Of course, you hear, you empathize, you comfort them.
You reflect and
yes,
you know.
Yeah, but the key issue is to give them. Everyone, you know, we have all our, I said already, coping mechanism. Everyone has the capacity
to cope up.
But there's something when happens, you lose that, but you have that capacity from your internal capacity, you know, to deal with it. But because you have been weakened by the issue, you no longer see the way forward. You don't want to plan. You see, you know, everything has shattered. So the counselor is there to wake up your inner energy, to still come up and say, okay, I'm capable. I think I have done this before. And there are cases they describe, you know, I have been in this situation, I got out of it, and So it is helping you to get your inner capacity again, and your inner strength
and abilities
that have been suppressed by the issue to come up again and fight, and you know, you manage to cope with time. So that is what we do. There is no other magic in that. But a person normally has their own capacity. But when you find an issue, you get somehow confused, and so you go to the next. You went to the next. That lady was a young lady who had 1 child, and she remarried after some time. After there was 2000 and. She married in 2010, after 10 years. So all those things, there are positive things that you see. She started studying again. She remarried, as I said. She got work. She's now okay.
She's living a healthy life.
Healthy life, yeah.
So let's speak about the case that you failed to manage. Which one?
Yeah, there are cases. Just one, yeah. It was an alcoholic case. It was an alcoholic case. It was really addicted that I tried, and I said, no, this is beyond. I think it is not addiction. It is beyond my capacity, maybe, to handle it. So, yeah.
So can you share a simple story from your experience where a small community act, maybe even a neighbor's, a conversation made a a real difference in someone's mental health journey? Because mostly you talk about how even a neighbor, I've seen you've talked about this in different publications that I've read about you, where you said it's even possible that a neighbor or a friend can take up the counseling and help you from the problem. But remember, these are people with no skills. And also remember, with our culture, people are rigid to speak out. People don't easily speak out. And we are so much, we have a less, I mean, we don't trust a lot. We don't trust a lot. Sure. So why do you insist that community engagement, counseling or helping to each other is very key?
Yeah, it is very key. First of all, because professionals are few. So if any Rwandan, if everyone could lend a listening ear, it would be helpful. I think you have seen in our communities, even in our long time ago, there are people who normally, most people go to. Like I will go to Alafat. Many people will go to Alafat because you may even ask, why is that? Why is everyone going to Arafat for advice? Simple advice, big advice. There are people normally who other people trust. Maybe if I could say they are like people of integrity without any training. But people can go to someone for advice, for support. Mostly elderly, but at the same time it could be a peer. Those people can be helpful. On top of that, if we all could listen, first of all, listening is and someone tells about their problem, it is like you are sharing the burden. So it's like the problem is halfway solved. I tell you, I get relieved. Yes, you will carry it maybe, but at least I feel relieved. Even if you don't give me any solution, but you listen to me. So that is the first medication. At least someone to listen to you. But when you don't have someone, you keep it just accumulates and it becomes more complicated, if I would say.
I see.
Yeah. So, but if you talk about it, it doesn't really become so heavy on you. But it becomes more if it is someone you trust, definitely, and you can tell someone you don't trust. Someone who can listen, even if normally talk or respond. And someone maybe who has mental health knowledge. If someone who, that is why our community workers, they normally do awareness. So if I hear it, you see people telling, I came here because there is someone who is in a group therapy who came home during our being the groups of lending and that are based in the community. She explained to me that there are some signs or some behaviors that people who has mental health have. And she told me it may be the same for me. And then she advised us. So those people, that is the first step to go. It is someone from a group, nobody sent her, but she's able to take the message to the other community. That's why I'm talking about that.
So let's look at Rwandan culture. How has Rwandan culture, by the way, helped you or maybe put a blockage on how you do your work? Do people really, since 2004 up to now, have people transitioned to understanding that really this is a very key point, this is a very key sector, this is a very key field to people's life that has to be really taken care of? Or how has the Rwandan culture really made it difficult for you to do the work well?
I think yeah, there has been some good progress since the trauma has come here and mental health issues are known and all that. There is a lot of progress, as I said, because even the structures itself shows that people are knowing what to do and where to go and how to get help. Though there is still some challenges, especially the stigma, as I said, but also the culture that, counseling, they don't value counseling. It's not a medication. only conversation, jipindi, what some people say, how can someone just go for a conversation? No medication, you are not giving anything, but that is the first step. I would say it is the foundation. If you can't think straight, if you can't, you have issues, you won't even work, you are going to poverty, you won't study, you are going to fail, you won't make your family, because you are, it is like a foundation. Our mental health is really a big asset that we could have as people.
So let's talk about youth now. You just mentioned earlier that like one of the cases that you failed to handle is an alcoholic case. And when you look outside here, so many young people are into alcohol. They are into drugs and different other types of drugs. And we are seeing suicide cases happening in the country. I mean, in the last 5 years, we've had more suicide cases than even the previous 5 years. And that is something that can even be traced and documented. But I am wondering, with the numbers increasing of young people facing mental disorders, problems with mental health, and engaged into drugs a lot, what is your mission right now regarding young people to rescue them? Because now we understand that the previous mission was to ensure that survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi gets access to mental health and trauma services. But now there's a new trend of young people who are really now a problem to the country. And I've seen the country is really doing a lot of awareness about that. But it seems like we need more effort. What is it that you're doing on that?
Well, I think you are right for the youth, especially with drugs. But drugs is, it's something. But what causes people to take drugs, especially for the youth? It may be peer pressure. It may be because of, one way of coping with the issue, a certain issue that we don't know. Like a copy. Some people go to drugs to
cope up with the situations. Maybe
to forget somehow. They think they forget, but it is the other way. I told you, after the drunkardness, your senses gets back to normal.
And
so some youth goes there because they feel not safe in the community. They have maybe issues at home. We have a lot of family conflict. We have orphans. We have parents who are there but not like physically but not psychologically supporting the children. We have now the worst of all, what we call the transgeneration trauma, where parents who have been traumatized have been inflicting the traumas to their children. I have anger, I beat you. Every time I tell you, after all, I don't know your father because maybe someone was born out of rape. I'll tell you, after all, your father are the cause of my family to go, to have perished. I'll tell you, after all, you came as an accident. I'll tell you, you are like your father. No difference. Some men who were Hutus maybe, by then they killed even their wives or their, it's like they ran away or they did what. So you find, or if it is a Tutsi who were married, they killed, now the woman says it is like your father. So parents are inflicting all those traumas that they have not coped with into their children, and their children to their marriage, and their marriage, the cycle continues. That is a big challenge as well. It has been made in research, even in the DNA. There is now research going on that the children today, through DNA, they can get the traumas. So it is a big issue. But with that, due to those issues, some people take alcohol to try and cope with the situation. But we try to raise awareness on proper, coping mechanisms. We are working in schools, as I told you, and we are working in communities with the youth. So, I think that is what we are doing, but the issue is really big, especially from the family. I think the roots are in the family, because every child, even if you are an orphan, you belong to somewhere in the family. Maybe unless those who are child-headed households, but still that shows the trauma also they are having, not having parents. So at the end of the day, they are equally having mental health issues due to those difficult maybe situations they are going through or they went through. And they end up becoming, not they don't perform in school. After school, they are sent away. After school, they are sent away. Then they say, after all, life has failed me. So I can go and do whatever I want. I can commit suicide. I can drink. I can, it's like someone has no hope in the future. Yeah.
So that's really very touching. That I've seen that the government, even the Ministry of Health, I saw that they are doing a lot of awareness on alcoholism and
yes.
these are the drugs. But as you just mentioned, you can't easily it's very hard to trace where these young people are getting all this addiction to drugs. Maybe perhaps it's linked to also, as you said, to parents,
to their historical background,
where they come from.
Definitely. The past experiences. Normally, you don't see the alcohol is a consequence of issues that they are facing, but it can also be a cause of trauma. Some people go there joking, going with the peers at university or even outside as young men or women. They go, they end up now going into too much alcoholism, careless sexual activities and all that. They end up getting traumas from there.
Are you having some cases that you're handling that are related to transgenerational trauma?
There are so many. Okay. Those are so many. Transgenerational trauma is a lot outside here, especially people may think that it is over, but the young generation who got married, sometimes you find the young marriages have history of maybe being survivors, maybe from families of where there has been conflict. So their marriages also fail. They all start struggling without knowing. Because maybe I want you to be my father. I married you, but I see you as everything,
to me.
To me, or you see me as a mother, wife, a sister, everything in you, in me. When so I don't
like
do
the
it,
burden becomes too big.
The burden, not the burden, but the way I see that, it doesn't even give a burden. But if I don't deliver on what you expect, then that is it becomes a problem. And you don't see it. You don't recognize that you are doing that. It is what we call transference and counter-transference. Transferring someone into someone else, or, take like you. I see you as someone who can protect me, who can do what. So once if something goes wrong, after all, you are not doing the way I wanted. So you are no longer serving the purpose and all that. Yeah.
What unique daily mental health struggles do Rwandans face that might not fit common global diagnoses like depression and anxiety? Do you have, I'm sure you've noticed quite a number of many cases that Rwandans face in mental health and trauma, but as we speak right now or today, what are the unique ones? Or what are those that stands out for you today that for those that come into your counseling room, mostly come up with?
The cases today, of course, there is grief that comes out of, there is still a lot of
grief.
People fighting grief from the genocide of 1990.
Really? After 30-something years?
Yeah, we have stages of grief. So they are still behind like years of grieving, Normally they have to go through that grief, and because it is delayed and it has not been done, we normally, when we lose someone, we grieve, and that's why we do for Chiriyo and all that. So someone copes. But if it goes for years, it becomes even a part of your life that you don't even notice. Yeah, so people are still grieving. There is a lot of grief, seconded by family conflicts, especially between family conflict and misunderstandings among the family members. There is a lot of family conflicts going on, inflicted by both parties, but based mostly on gender-based violence. The intimate partner violence, the domestic violence for children, and all that. Then we have drugs. Drugs come third, if I would say. Then there is GBV alone, as children who are being sexually abused at home, young teen mothers. You have seen them, a lot of them. Yeah.
So on the family conflict, is there another one you wanted to raise before we go to? I wanted us to look at one you just talked about on the family conflict.
It's okay, we can move on.
I mean, the family conflict of conflicts. What is it have you found that is really causing a lot of family conflicts in our Rwanda?
It's more. Or
do you think it's a global case?
It is a global case, but more specifically for Rwandans, it is a new thing. I think it has been there, but now the gender-based violence has really sparked it, because it has been there and taken as part of culture. That is one cause, definitely, for the conflict.
Now people are getting to understand that actually you can raise your voice and speak out.
Yes, of course. And and like our culture, we would take it, it's that is how it is made. Families, women don't talk. I can't complain. I will not argue with my husband. That was the culture of long time ago. Women couldn't, raise any issue. A man would wake up and say, okay, we are shifting to where. But today, even a child wants to know, needs, in fact, to know when you are shifting and why. Even if it is a child, they need to be
Why
consulted.
Are we shifting from this location?
And why do you take me from this school to another one, or something like that? So everyone has a right as a human being. Those are fundamental human rights. So I would say it has been more culturally allowed before than today, when people are getting civilized, if I would say. And also the laws are there, the governments people are gaining awareness on that. They know their rights. It's not like a long time ago where you knew your right was in the house, nothing more. I'm educated. We bring, or we go together to work, we come back. How about that equality of, division of labor? You want me still to iron, you want me to do everything at home because I'm a woman? It's not fair. Some men have already coped with that, which is good. They know how to share their roles at home, for their children, for their house chores and all that. Because you are all human beings, and you are all have body. You get tired. Sometimes even women get pregnant and get more tired. So some men help a lot in that. But those who are still colonized mentally by social and cultural norms, if I would say, they will still say, this woman, how does she behave like this?
So for you, you are 100% sure that the leading cause of the family conflicts right now was maybe the one that holds the higher percentages is...
It's more of culture.
It's more of culture
and social norms.
And the current gender-based violence that is getting higher, and also the shared values or shared roles, or maybe what you call gender equity and these other things.
Education, for example. You can compare when girls didn't go to school, boys would go. Today, if you have land, you used not to have land as girls. You would go back and they just give you a piece, and when you are not married.
How do you perceive it as a person?
As a person, I think it is good, so long as we don't use it to violate other people's rights. Otherwise, it is a good practice, because it brings all people as human beings together. and at the same level, not showing. Of course, we can never be the same. Biologically, you are a man, I'm a woman. Yes, I know. But how come you will have the right to sell the land when we are married? For example, we have children, and because you are a man, or when you harvest, you sell everything. You go to the market, you sell every cows or whatever, or land. Then you go drink, or get another wife. You know, you spoil the money in different ways. That's not proper. So it needs you to. It doesn't need me to fight that way, but I know now how I can talk to you, to have a communication at home, to reflect that you are not doing the right thing. But people who don't do communication, they do it violently, and that's what causes the violence at home. So part of our work is to teach couples, especially in a non-violent communication, and their roles, of course, and how to support each other, and how to plan together, to plan for their family, to plan for their lives, and all that.
So
it is more to do with communication.
By virtue of look, are women equally using their rights, or they've overused their rights? And men now need to learn to cope up with that.
No. I think there is some, of course, who don't know why, or who they may misuse that power. Some may misuse that power, or use it even to manipulate men. And we have seen these social medias and other things which go out, where women have really used their feminism, or their women, their bodies or whatever, to blackmail men, to say that, you know, they have done this for me, when it was not true. But that's not proper. Normally the gender we have is not for anyone to use against the other, but instead to bring them to a common purpose, and to work together as a male and female.
So as we conclude our conversation today, what is it that you would want to share? Let's say if you happen to have a chance to share something to the public, what is it that you would want to talk about? And before we conclude, share anything that maybe you think that is not going on well outside here, or anything you would want to share to people if you had an opportunity.
The only thing I would say is about the mental health stigma, and people to know that mental health exists, but is a disease like any other, not a disease anyway. It's not even a disease. These psychological issues is not a disease, but it is a condition that can be treated. It's not something that you can ignore, because once it is ignored, it will become more complicated, and it will become more, it will cause more problems. As you have seen, it goes to our next generation. So it is important that people know that mental health is there, but it is treatable, and they should seek services. They are there, we are there, government is there, hospitals are there, other NGOs are there to provide support, even the community. Another thing is that, as I said already, I still repeat, anyone can be a counselor if you really listen to someone and you orient that person to a more professional person if need be. Then the stigma around mental health should stop, because it does more harm than good. It's really people who does that, it shows ignorance about mental health. You can't say that someone is weak, or the family of so and so has a mad person, as we call it, or because of some behaviors or mental health issues. So they should seek help at any time.
Thank you so much. We appreciate so much your time, and
thank you too.
I hope the conversation was really nice, and if there is something that you want to just say as in one word as we conclude, it's fine, but for me that's it.
Just one word is to thank you, Arafat, and your studio for hosting me. And also having tabled this issue of mental health. It is really a big challenge that people have to hear. And I would request that you keep it up.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you.